You're now listening to Mark Who 42 from the Whoniverse and beyond.
My name's Billy Floyd, and this is the Commodore. And we are the KitchenKillaz from Orlando, Florida, and you are listening to Mark Who 42.
Reading is fun, but I know a lot of you out there don't have a lot of time to spare to read. But you do drive your car to go from place to place, and that's why you should get audiobooks. Audiobooks like the ones they have at Audible. Hi, I'm Mark Baumgarten, host of Mark Who 42. If you are interested in reading fiction, nonfiction, Doctor Who titles, Audible has 180,000 titles, actually more than that, for you to choose from to get your reading done in an auditorial fashion. Go to audibletrial.com/markwho42 and get a free month's membership, and there's a special deal right now where you can get 2 free downloads of audiobooks. And you can download any audiobook that's on their site. So go to audibletrial.com/markwho42 and take advantage of this free offer. If you enjoy your audiobook, you can stay with them and only pay $14.95 a month. You'll get another download, and you'll be, again, a member of them, where you'll be able to get low rates on Audible books. So, once again, go to audibletrial.com/markwho42 and read. Or rather, listen. That's a good Doctor Who phrase. Listen. Welcome to Mark Who 42, the Doctor Who radio show. I'm your host, Mark Baumgarten, and with me today are...
Nobody is
on the show with me, except these people.
No one.
Oh, hold on. I'm hearing people. I'm hearing Trish Pryor. I'm hearing E. Matthews, and I'm pretty sure I heard Zion Kuros just a second ago. So I will assume they are on the show with me today. We've got a great show.
It's a conspiracy.
We've got a great show for you today. We've actually got some live music and talk for you with our interview with KitchenKillaz. That's right. Billy Floyd and the Commodore are here today. So it's going to be a great show. And, Gallifrey is coming up. Trish and I and Ed are going to be having a great time at this thing coming up. And we're actually going to do a show from Gallifrey 1. We are not going to have a stage. We are not going to have an audience. But we are going to have a voice recorder. And we are going to walk around and interview people and give everyone a feel for what being at Gallifrey is like. So that maybe you, one day, when the day comes, will sit in front of your computer and go, sign in. No, darn, it's overloading. Let me try it again. Sign in. No, it won't work. I want to get a ticket. Oh, they're sold out.
And if you want to get the After Dark version of what happened in Gallifrey 1, you're welcome to come to Let's Be Reals.
Let's Be Reals. Oh, yeah, because we're going to be invited to Let's Be Reals the following week, aren't we?
Oh, yes.
Gallifrey. Yeah,
all the explicit details.
We will give you the explicit details, and I don't think you want to hear them here on Mark Who 42, because we're a family show. But first, you know what? We're talking all about this garbage, and it's not really garbage, but I'm calling it garbage right now, because I want to have a segue, and I don't have one. It's time for... Mark Who 42 News with anchor person Iggy Matthews. Iggy, what do we have in store in the world of Mark Who 42 and beyond?
Well, hello, Mark. Well, I'd like to start off by asking how difficult is it for you to purchase gifts for people? Like, that is just anxiety-filled.
Very.
And, yeah, I know you have to sit here and wonder, like, okay, well, what do I get you? I mean, I know you're a nerd and you're kind of a geek, but what don't you have? And is it this? Is it that? Well, fret no more, because as if Think Geek wasn't already enough of a thing, now you can get Think Geek. Oh, come on. Think Geek is awesome.
They are
Okay.
awesome. They have some cool stuff there.
Yeah, and now you can go ahead and get yourself a divination box. No, this is not Wiccan. This is Harry Potter. For all of the Harry Potter fans out there, you can use money to buy gifts that keep on giving, and that is not an implication to an STD. Okay.
And I think we just lost our family rating there. Okay.
What do you think? What are you talking about?
You mean strategically terrific delivery? I got nothing.
I was going to say with super talented devices.
Yeah, talented. It had to be talented. T is for talented. It always is. Yeah.
Yeah.
T for two.
Transmitted.
Talented for two.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So what you can purchase now is the Gift of Harry Potter themed fandom subscription box called Accio. That is how you say it, right? Not Accio?
It's not IKEA, so I would hope it's not IKEA.
Well, because I've spent my whole life trying to correct people. Is Leviosa, not Leviosa. Okay, so
all I know is that when I read the books, I always said, Accio in my head, but
yes.
I think in the movies, they do pronounce it Accio.
As long as it's not IKEA, because we're not getting sponsored by them. Or Think Geek, to be honest, but yeah.
It is the first handmade. Oh, okay, all right. It is the first handmade. You bastard. All right. Our seasonal subscription box, 100% inspired by the Wizarding World.
Woo!
Okay. Each month, the box contains 3 to 5 handmade items from small businesses, indie artists, with the last item being from one of your specific Hogwarts house. So, which house are we all in? Because I'm functionally part of I'm Ravenclaw.
I'm Hufflepuff.
I don't know the movies or the books, so I just said Gryffindor because I've heard that word before.
Oh my God, get out of here. I bet you anything you're a Hufflepuff.
I'm a
no,
muggle.
He's not.
I'm a muggle. I'm a total 100% muggle.
All right, well, that's disappointing.
I never got into Harry Potter. I'm sorry. It's a children's book, and I just never got into it.
Is it really a children's book?
It really is a children's book. Just like Twilight is a teenager book, Harry Potter was a children's book.
We're not going to talk about Twilight. We're not talking about Twilight.
It's not meant for people my age. I'm too old.
Oh my God! Somebody get this guy. Whose man's is this? Whose man's is this? Okay, somebody get him. Okay.
Hey, I want to see Band Camp. Let's go see American Pie Presents Band Camp.
Oh God.
Oh God.
So we're going to digress from that, and we're going to go back to the original topic. If you are familiar with Loot Crate, which is wonderful, by the way, this is very much the same thing, but we're looking at more handmade items, things that have actually would be unique, and it's tailored to the Harry Potter fandom and for the collector in you out there.
Now, how much is it?
An arm and a leg, but that's not the point.
Oh, come on. Because I used to have Nerd Block, and until they screwed me over, and went out of business before sending me a bunch of crap that I already had or didn't want. So I'm
I'll go through the
wary
January
of these.
Box. I'll go through the January box. Okay, so the House Pride Weekly Planner is $15. Okay, this is what's in the box.
Okay, so $15. I'm keeping that in my head. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, Divination Pin is $9.
So that's $24.
Divination Classroom Spray, $14.
So that's $38.
Seer Insight Custom Tea Blend, $7.
$45.
Mars' Bright Wall Art, $12.
$57.
And you are not going to be paying quite that much.
You're not paying $57 for it? How much are you paying for that?
I'm going to go ahead and assume that it's probably anywhere between a reasonable amount of like $20 a month, or depending on what box you're picking. But obviously, going to the site, you can go ahead and pick your box. Do you want it extravagant? Do you want to pay every month or every 3 months? What do you want to do? It's all up to you.
But I definitely would check it out. Do what you want to do. Wow.
Freedom. Unlike statute of limitations, there really isn't one on this one.
Wow.
Did
That's
that just
kinda
lead to
cool.
my next article?
Did it lead to your next article? I can only tell that yes.
This is going to be a huge spoiler alert.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Spoiler. Should we hit the spoiler alert? We haven't played the
No!
spoiler alert.
No!
All right,
No!
I won't play it. We haven't
You're gonna
played
play it
it.
anyways.
We haven't played it in about 20 episodes. We'll keep it off because it does
You're gonna
cost
do it
money
again.
every time I play it.
Oh, thank God. Okay, so there is hope in the world. So, in the age of social media and with lightning speed in which information comes out, these days the term spoiler alert seems to be popping up more and more and more. So just recently, there was a conversation on a radio show where they're trying to determine proper spoiler alert etiquette. They didn't necessarily come to an agreement. Some said a month, some said a year, and some said you really should never give a spoiler alert. But it gave some food for thought, and is it even possible to come to a conclusion? So, what do you think?
Well, I kind of think spoilers should have a time limit. The fact that I haven't seen Star Wars at this point, you guys can tell me the whole movie, it's my fault. 2 months in a movie is plenty of time, because usually the movie is out of the theater by 2 months. So, I mean, really, that's calling it. But Doctor Who, let's talk about Doctor Who. It comes on at around 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening in England. That on the East Coast of the United States is about 2 p.m. In California, it's about 11 noonish, in that time frame. And so we don't get it until BBC America shows it at 9. So there is a gap of many, many, many hours between, and it's not fair for the people in England to go, I don't think it's fair that I have to wait for an American to watch it because I love this so much. I'm going to post it right now. If that's what they do, okay. Guys, if you don't want a spoiler, stay off of social media, or at least look at your notifications and know which ones not to go to before you watch the episode. I mean, there should be a kind of time limit, but I don't think it's fair. If you really loved an aspect of the show and want to go, wow, so-and-so was cool, that's your right, I think, isn't it? Shouldn't they be allowed to be happy that something happened and express themselves?
No, I agree with you, Mark, because I get tired of people not being able to stay off of social media for, 12 hours or whatever it is. It's like, come on. If you can't do that.
I have a question,
then,
Trish.
Yeah.
When you were younger, did you have a cell phone? Did you have...
Oh, come on. Don't bring it to that now, okay?
No.
We
are not in the prehistoric
ages.
Didn't.
No, we're not talking prehistoric ages. We're talking that just because there's a new application, these new rules that people just arbitrarily throw on it are not fair.
For me, it's like, I would never spoil anything for someone. Like, even Mark, now that it's been 2 months since Star Wars has come out, and I don't know what the hell's wrong with you, but, you should have already seen it. I would still not spoil it for you.
Okay.
And
I appreciate that.
But, if you're out and about and you hear someone talking about Star Wars, you shouldn't be able to go, hey, I haven't seen that yet. You can't talk about it in front of me.
Exactly.
No, you shouldn't be able to do that either. You should leave
the
the room or something, put your fingers in your ears and go, whatever,
Yeah.
But I think you can talk about, like, a television show or a movie. I think it, maybe give a couple of days.
Yeah, and you know what?
Maybe
That's
just
what I
be
do.
nice.
3 days.
3 days. That's what we do on Mark Who 42. I mean, even though I am saying spoilers, if you're excited about it, say it. We do put up a warning asking people not to talk about the show until the Monday after the episode has been on. And then, we reviewed the show on Wednesday, so we're going to give you all the spoilers 2 days later. So you can talk. So, I mean, we are kind and polite. We don't want to give spoilers, but you shouldn't get mad at someone giving a spoiler if it's in the middle of a conversation and something you like and are passionate about. Just say, please don't tell me the rest of this. I haven't seen it yet. You can say that, and then the person if they are a polite person, which I'm hoping you're dealing with, is going to go, okay, we'll talk about something else. That's fair.
The only thing that I think should never be spoiled, no matter how long it's been, is a book.
Interesting how you say that.
Because a book, you have to work at it to find out, the ending of a book. You actually have to read the whole thing.
Right.
And if hasn't been made into a movie or a television show, and it's not just widely known how it ends, then no, you should never spoil a book.
Ready Player One ends exactly this way that I will tell you right now. It's a happy ending.
Okay, now I don't need to watch it.
You don't need... No. Read the book. Don't watch the movie. Read the book.
It's interesting. Zion, what are your thoughts on this before I actually write down what I have here? You guys are close.
I feel like there should be at least like a 3-day interval when we're talking on fan-wise spoilers. But like if we're talking about like company-wise spoilers, like how the BBC did with the Master at the beginning of season 10, all the way where we had like 10 weeks until World Enough in Time, then I don't think that company should spoil their future plot points. But for the viewer side, I say give your fellow viewers about 3 days or so if you're just about to just blurt it out and talk about it. But that's just me.
Interesting. Okay, so there are 3 examples of spoiler alert from 1 week to 1 month to even 10 years. And there was a Facebook poll, and the general consensus seems to be roughly about the same. So the statute of limitation is different from a movie, book, television show, episode versus series, and video game. So the spoiler limitation for a movie can range from 1 to 6 months depending on the popularity of the movie. Book, video game, or television series ending wrap-up should never be spoiled. And lastly, television episodes shouldn't be spoiled at least through the end of its current season. So me personally, I think that when it comes to movies and things like that, generally I wait about just like a couple weeks, maybe like a month after the movie's out, or I'll stick to my general group of people that have already seen the movie, and then I'll discuss it with them. I don't necessarily take it to social media unless I am part of a group that is a discussion which we have. And inevitably, you're going to find a couple people that are like, oh my God, I haven't seen this. And immediately that person is attacked with, why the fork are you in this discussion then?
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
When it comes to video games and books, that is an experience. Yeah. I'm not saying that watching a movie isn't an experience, but you're not actively trying to do something to achieve the conclusion of this story or of what you're, doing. So I think that much it's something that should be spoiled because it takes away from the book. It takes away from the work that you have to put in to find out X, Y, and Z. When it comes to TV series, now, I really don't care about that. As far as spoilers are concerned, there is no such thing as spoilers for me. It just makes me want to see the content that much more because that's just the perspective that I choose to have. But the underlying argument comes down to where should there be OMG, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen this, people are actually getting mad about that. Like, well, why are you putting it out there? I'm like, the reason that we have that big old block of like saying spoiler alert is because we're providing you with the option.
Well, the reason
is exactly what you asked for.
Yes.
Iggy.
I have the freedom to talk about it, and you have the option to not listen to it.
The reason for social media is to socialize and get the media out there. So actually, spoilers are a very big part of social media.
They are.
If you avoid talking about what's going on in the media, in the social niceties and everything, you're contradicting the whole point of social media. Spoilers should be an everyday requirement of social media.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But warn people. Why can't you warn people if you know there are people who don't want to know? Warn people. Put the spoiler alert. Why get
look at it? Look at it like this, and this fits in perfectly with specifically today. Because look, if I go to sleep tonight and I don't watch the Super Bowl, and I wake up to a billion posts about whoever won the Super Bowl, I can't get mad about spoilers because I don't watch it because no one really cares about spoilers with sports. So why should we care more about spoilers about shows?
Spoilers with sports, though. People do care.
It's true.
I
know people
that don't want to know about it until they get home and watch it. and they get pissed when they're told the final score.
But that's your
See, like-
choice. You
see, like,
decided to do that.
But that's a recent thing. Jump back to like 10 or 15 years ago, you had to deal with the morning news.
Or going to school and everybody's talking about it. Oh, did you
Bingo.
see the Patriots won again? Surprise, surprise.
Big surprise.
I'm calling it right now. I'm calling it right now.
You don't think the other team has a chance? They've never
The
been in
Eagles
Super-
has
they've never
gone on
been
their
in the
side.
Super Bowl before. The Eagles have
They
never been
can
in the Super
do
Bowl
it.
before. They can do it. Let's
Oh,
take
I'm
a
not
bet.
saying that I
We're
don't
gonna have
support
it.
them. I'm just saying that
let's
they're
go-
just going to...
Let's close out this news segment with our predictions for the Super Bowl. Zion,
Eagles, hard win.
Iggy,
Patriots,
Trish.
unfortunately.
I unfortunately will have to say the Patriots as well, but I have to add that I don't have anything against the Eagles. I have something against their fans. Their fans are jerks. They are like some of the worst people
All
out
right,
there,
if the
and I
Roots
don't
are
want them to
listening
be
to
happy.
this, if
They're
the
out there with the
Roots-
Raiders.
If the Roots,
Exactly. They are the East Coast Raiders.
If-
And
I can't say
That is-
this. If the Roots are listening to this, I did not say that. Do not get mad at Marku 42.
Ladies and
for
gentlemen, the
saying
views and opinions of those on the show do not reflect the views and opinions
Oh.
of Mark 42.
I want to be a guest on
you-
Jimmy Fallon's show, and you're totally getting the Roots against me on this.
no.
one.
Have you heard about what the Eagle fans do? I mean,
No,
this
I don't.
guy
Mm-hmm.
threw up all over a man and his 11-year-old daughter because they were rooting for the other team. He was sitting behind them, and he made himself throw up, so he
made
threw up all
himself
over
throw
them.
up? Oh my
Yes,
God.
on purpose.
That's terrible.
You see, like,
He mama
The-
bird
the
that poor
police-
family?
The police force, they go through the main street of Philly, and they grease all of the telephone poles and anything that someone can climb up of. They do this regardless of whether or not
Wow.
they win or lose, because they just know that these
They're gonna
people
idiots
are going
are
to
gonna
go stupid.
are
All
gonna
right, my
riot.
prediction, I do favor the Patriots because the Patriots have won it a lot. However,
Because they cheat?
hold on. But because I live in South Florida, the Patriots are the enemies of the Miami Dolphins. We are rivals.
That's why.
So
Bingo.
I have to go for Eagles, especially because they put through a lot of work this season. The
Yes.
Eagles amazed me this season. The fact that they could get to the Super Bowl when they've never done this before, my hats, I have to give the Eagles a call on this. So the women are saying Patriots.
Well, you know, the
men are saying
Patriots-
Eagles.
The Patriots, they're the comeback kids. You know,
But
I mean,
the Patriots win every year.
I
Every
know,
year.
but the
You-
And that's why we're
I
saying
know.
Patriots.
that's
but
why we're
I
saying
think
Patriots,
the
because
Eagles
even
have
if they're
never done
down
this
at
well.
halftime, they're going to come back and win it.
But the Eagles.
See, Mark,
They're going to deflate a couple
All
balls
right, you know what?
and...
All right, that's the end of the news, folks. We're going to come back here on Mark Who 42. That's the end of the news. This news segment of Mark Who 42 has been sponsored by Cosplay Convention Center. You can find more information by clicking the link on markwho42.net. They are a database for cosplayers, for anyone who works in the convention limelight. If you're looking for us, we're there. They have a database that narrows down where we're going to be. If you're looking for Doctor Who conventions in your area, this is a place to look. If you're looking for certain people going to conventions, you can find them there too. This database is amazing, and it's wonderful to use if you need to find out about your favorite genre, your favorite podcasts, your favorite professional cosplayers. Check out the Cosplay Guide. Again, you can find their link on markwho42.net. When we come back, we're going to have the KitchenKillaz for you. That would be our good friends Billy Floyd and the Commodore. We'll be right back here on Mark Who 42.
Yeah.
Don't go away. Don't go away. We'll be back with more Mark Who 42 after this.
Hey, Iggy.
Yes.
You know, I know that you started watching Doctor Who as a newbie, with the new show, but have you gotten a chance to watch all 7 classic Doctors in action?
I have not.
Well, you can find the most complete collection of Doctor Who ever broadcast in the U.S. on Retro TV.
Shut the front door. Are you serious?
I'm serious, and you don't even need cable for this. This is over-the-air television. You have an HD antenna. You can watch around the country Retro TV. Many of the stories have been remastered and enhanced from their original film and videotape elements, so they come out beautifully perfect in HD.
Mind blown.
It's free. You just have to go to your TV and find Retro TV, and you can watch all the great Doctor Who. They show 2 episodes Monday through Friday, and they show more than that.
I think I shall get my pajamas and my Ben and Jerry's then.
And recently they've added news stories. Not news stories as in like they made news stories, but news stories that they haven't had in rotation, such as several Patrick Troughton tales that weren't on before. They're adding them to them. So there's more to watch because, those news stories became available. Web of Fear and Enemy of the World. So they've added things like that.
Oh my, I'm excited!
So don't forget to go and look for Retro TV and watch Doctor Who. You can go to RetroTV.com and look for their schedule for exactly when Doctor Who is on in your area.
I'm logging in as we speak.
Marku42 is proud to have Famous Faces and Funnies as a sponsor of our show. They have literally tons and tons of comic books, novelties, and everything. They're located off of 3020 New Haven Avenue in West Melbourne. If you want to give them a call, let them Marku42 sent you. You can call them at 321-258-3575. But they are a huge store. I mean, you've seen comic stores, but this one is kind of like the Costco of comic stores. They have tons of merchandise. It's incredible. You can go from one store, then there's another section and another section. They have tons and tons of stuff there for you to buy. If you have any geekdom out there, Famous Faces and Funnies has got it. Doctor Who, Star Trek, Star Wars, everything. Rick, the guy who runs it, real great guy. You definitely want to check out Famous Faces and Funnies in Melbourne, Florida.
Hi, this is Caitlin Blackwood, and you're listening to Mark Who 42.
Welcome back to Mark Who 42. I'm your host, Mark Baumgarten. With me today, of course, is Trish Fryer, Iggy Matthews, and Zion Quiroz. Hey, guys.
Hey.
Hey!
We've got a guest interview right now. You ready for me to introduce him?
What?
Bring him out.
Yeah, we do have guests, Iggy. It's not just all about you.
Well, that's disappointing.
I'm sorry. I wish it was just about you, but it's not. We have the group that is storming conventions in the southeast area of the United States and further. I've heard they've got some new places they're going to be going to. It's KitchenKillaz with Billy Floyd and the Commodore, which I will say his name once at the beginning, Jason Stevens. That's it. For now on, you're the Commodores.
Hello, hello. What's going on, everybody?
Hey.
Whoa.
So,
that sounds like some sexy voices. What are you guys doing over there?
Thank you for calling
Wouldn't
my
you
voice
like
sexy.
to know?
Thank you for calling my voice sexy. I appreciate that. I like to hear things like that. Unless you were talking about the girls, and then I'm sorry, I apologize.
Mark, we're always talking about you when we talk about sex.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
You were performing earlier this week, and I happened to click onto it on Facebook, and you told people, yeah, you were coming to your show, and then, well, yes, you are. You're here.
Yes, baby. Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, I love your broadcasts that you do from the cons and from, I guess, other places, because there's not a con every time you perform, is there? I mean, tell us a little about KitchenKillaz. Tell us a little about KitchenKillaz.
Yeah, no problem. The best way I can kind of surmise it is we're a touring acoustic duo that crashes kitchens throughout the country. So it kind of, that's been the vehicle right now that has brought us to you guys. Both of us have been in the music industry for, collectively almost 40 years. And it's been one of the kind of things that came out of the blue. It really wasn't something that was planned. It was something that was evolved. And naturally, it's taken us to different kitchens since last August, every single Friday. We've been invited to 5 different states and 2 different countries.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Different countries. You're going out. You've got your passports.
Right now we're trying to figure out that little tiny detail in financing. So we've been invited to Australia. We've also been invited directly to London as well from some people that have, just like you, Mark, kind of clicked on the link, was wondering what was going on, watched a little bit of the feed, and then thought, I kind of want to invite these crazy guys to my kitchen and see what we can do here. So it's not always conventions. The good part about that is I know a lot of people like you, Mark, through the convention circuit. Mm-hmm. We've met on 42, hanging with Web Show, those great guys.
Yeah.
And And ever since I met, both of you guys, we've always seemed to have a healthy, positive, kind of creative relationship, supporting each other's passions and drives and different projects. So this is one of the things that I was finally able to kind of bridge the gap between original music and the convention world. And I never thought it would be kitchens that would do it.
It's a great concept. I never would have thought having my claim to fame being, I play music in kitchens.
It's still a foreign concept to a lot of people. A lot of people they just don't really get it until they see it happen. And to be honest with you, we've worked for a long time trying to figure out how to surmise what we do in kind of like a splash description for people that we're reaching out to. And even if we put it down step by step, a lot of times people, they have a hard time kind of comprehending on what we're talking about. They're just like, what? Guys play guitars in your kitchen? I don't get it. I don't understand. So that's why we always encourage people, if you're interested, book us for a kitchen show, and you'll see what it's like, because the people that are in the room, they kind of get two shows. They get a show, a live stage show, and then they get kind of a behind-the-scenes show as well, since our main audience exists on social media. And so that's our main kind of platform, is using Facebook. But there is really an awesome connection between us and the live studio audience. They're kind of in on the show. They're in on the behind-the-scenes jokes. They get it because they're there, and they can kind of see it from a different perspective than our social media audience.
Why kitchen? Why? Of all the things that you could do, why kitchen? I mean, it's really creative and it's different, which I think is really what stands out the most for me, like when I'm looking at artists, because, I mean, anybody does covers. Anybody can do that. But what makes it unique is, obviously the talent, whether you're playing your own instrument and you legitimately have a talent for that. I mean, personally, that's what I look for. And then the voice itself. But what draws me in is I'm trying to why kitchen?
Well, that's thank you, by the way. That's something that just kind of evolved. I always had the idea that
we'll let the Commodore take this.
You had to come up with this great idea and just brainstorm until you came up with the precise idea, and it wasn't like that at all. It was just we were just kind of letting the idea evolve itself, and just making tiny little adjustments, little details that we thought went right or went wrong or we could do better every single week. And to this day, like we did our first location back in August, and we've done every single Friday since then. But every single Friday is different than the last. We tweak at least something every single week. So that's kind of just where it came from. We went from just playing a random song in a random room in the house on a random night at a random time, and then it just kind of just got chiseled away from there.
Yeah, we found ourselves in the kitchen one time. We had played in a crafts room that I had in my house. We played in our band room. We played in the bathroom. We played in our room in rehearsal space. And we were just trying to utilize the power of social media by playing one song randomly some day during the week. And we played in the kitchen one time. And to answer your question easily, the lighting. The lighting in the kitchen was really natural, and it was really good at our old house. So we found that it was easier. We didn't have to really worry about environmental intrudes or, something affecting the shadows or the light. In the kitchen, it was really bright. So we did the kitchen, and we decided we were going to play until we fell beneath 30 viewers, which even to this day, to us, that's still a lot of people that care about what you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
We wanted to play until we fell beneath 30 viewers. And the next thing we knew, we had played for 2.5 hours. We had played everything in our register. And then we started doubling up on songs until we literally just ran out of gas. We ran out of it, and we streamed live for almost 2 hours and 45 minutes. And we didn't fall beneath 30 viewers at all, which was kind of weird. And we weren't the KitchenKillaz at the time. It was just Billy Floyd and the Commodore, and that was it. We did it the next Friday as well because we thought it might just be a fluke. We did it the following Friday to the same result. One of the guys that was in there, Tim Haggard, a musician from Polk County, said he had been kind of checking in all the rooms. He's like, man, you guys are killing it in the crafts room. You're killing it here. You're killing it there. So he said, you guys are killing it in the kitchen. You guys are like the KitchenKillaz. So
that is awesome.
I made a little mark in my mind. I'm like, that's a really good name. I like the alliteration. It was fun to say. It was simple. I thought like immediately, and Mark, and probably all of you guys, since you've done this for such a long time, anytime a little inkling of an idea comes along that might evolve into something, we kind of store it away for the future.
Yes.
And when he said KitchenKillaz, I thought, okay, let me put a pin in that. I'm going to come back to that because that was really cool. Yeah. Let's see what we can do. So through joking with the audience, And that's the best thing about it in my experience, especially with Facebook, is we can interact with you guys as you come into the feed. So when Mark jumps in, we're like, what up, Mark, from Mark from 42? What's up, dude? So good to see you, man. And, you know, Mark Cecil's in there, and Garrett's in there, and Sage, everybody is in there. Cosplay Michael, 7-year-old cosplay Michael's in there hanging out. You know, so it's like we all gather in this virtual room together, and it's good to see each other. So the next thing we know, one of my friends was like, would you crash my kitchen? And I say yes, side note, to everything before I actually think about it. And I was like, yeah, bro, we'll crash all the kitchens. Just let us know, and we'll do it. And right then, the invitations started flooding in. So then we started getting invited to all these kitchens. We're like, what are we going to do? Like, we're just going to play music in their kitchen? That's what else can we do? And we love to cook. Both the Commodore and I have been in the restaurant industry for a really long time. We love food. And that was one of the things. I'm like, how else can we kill it in the kitchen? How do we involve that into the show? And little by little, we were just able to work with Dennis Cutter from the House of John Cutter. I'm sure you know you've met him throughout your convention travels. Yeah. His daughter Liz, his girlfriend Tara, and you know Dennis started getting involved, and we started opening up to all the different hosts and all the different kitchens. Some people would want to make like a family recipe, something to share with the viewers. You know, we feature the host, we feature the kitchen, we feature the food, and if it's okay with you guys, we supply the menu. The ingredients to our listeners, so they can make the same thing at home if they want. So we're compiling a cookbook, and we're compiling a cover sheet. We're still writing new originals. And then above all that, we're meeting you guys, and we're finding out this community that we're a part of is just such a blessing.
You guys should be on Food Network.
Food Network!
That would be an awesome show.
It would be a very awesome show. But that explanation was definitely way better than the one that I had in my head, because typically when I don't understand something, I try to come up with my own reason. And my reason was, well, every time that I get in the kitchen, I legitimately cannot do anything without having music playing. It's just not going to happen. Okay, so if music is playing in the kitchen, them dishes are about to get done, and I'm about to work some magic in that kitchen. So if the music is playing in the living room, that's laundry. So,
you know what? I'm getting a little hungry, so you know what, hey, guys, can you play a little something for us to give us a little?
I'm a little thirsty.
We're kind of hungry and thirsty.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We'd love to. That would be great. This we write a lot of originals. We play some covers, but we're really fortunate that at the end of the show, we always leave it up to the guests to pick our last song, whether they want to hear a cover or whether they want to hear an original. And we try to be as interactive as possible. And to date, every single competition, the originals have won, which is really humbling for us that people like to hear original music that we're writing. I've played the bar circuit for such a long time. You've always got that guy in the background screaming for Freebird, yelling for the covers. Yeah, exactly. You know, bro. Mark, I bet you might be that guy. It's either you or
I'm that guy. No, I'd be killed by my spouse if I asked for Freebird. Not allowed to play that song.
Well, we don't want you dead, Mark, so we'll keep that.
So we're not playing Freebird. We're going to do that pick on the final song, but the first song, I'd like you to do something original if you've got something ready for us.
Absolutely, my man. This one is called Was It a Dream? I hope you guys enjoy it. If you don't, blame Mark. Was it a dream? Or did I see you smiling back at me? Donkeys and lies that you pierced through the heart of me, bringing beauty, bearing an angel that's from your soul. Was it a dream? All of those natural lips that parted and pressured me, the supple kiss that graces my lips, some stabs and calls to me, emotions out to take your love, make it a part of me. So I wanna know where love goes when we meet. I will have to try to get it well and see where it leads. I wanna know, could it be too much to ask for you to step from my dreams to me? Walk out of those visions that I've seen in my sweet to me. Wake me from my nightmares when you're not standing near at me. So I wanna know Could I live to my dreams with you and leave my reality? Together now happiness that's created by you and me. Sleeping from the loneliness that echoes and follows me. Again. I wanna know, will you take me when you leave? I don't wanna leave from my dreams and into my sleep. I wanna know, can I stay with you in my dreams? I wanna answer the question. Clear this up for me. And clear this up for me. Was it a dream? Or did I ride this for an angel that visits me? Is it just me and my crazy contradiction taking in two directions that make everything up to me? So please let me sleep, so I can see you smiling right in front of me. Soft lips that tell the truth and never hold back on me. You take my love and give me your time to me. Wanna know where our love goes when we leave. I don't wanna leave from my dreams and you into my sleep. I wanna know, can I stay with you in my dreams? I wanna clear this up for me, and clear this up for me. Was it a dream? And clear this up for me. Was it a dream? And clear this up for me. Was it a dream? And clear this up for me. Clear this up for me. Clear this up for me.
Woo! Yeah. All right.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was actually really good. That was
beautiful.
wonderful.
Oh my.
These guys are good, and you can catch them on Facebook every Friday night and other nights, and at conventions near you. Guys, where is your next few conventions going to be?
Our next convention is going to be Sci-Fi Bartow, February 17th in Bartow. It's an outdoor convention, and it's free for anybody that wants to attend. We actually have 2 shows that day. We're playing the main stage at 1 o'clock, and we'll be doing live cooking on stage with Dennis and his daughter Liz.
Oh, wow.
And then we're also playing between the 5 and 6 hour on the Happy Hour and Johnny Deuce stage. And that's going to be, we're going to feature food trucks, local restaurants, and a lot of the local favorites of that area and their best cuisine. And then we have a special surprise for desserts that we're going to bring in, which is also, that has inspired us to do a KitchenKillaz show based 100% on desserts and and sweets and chocolates and sugar and ice cream and waffles.
Oh my God! Stop!
Stop! You're getting us hungry. You're getting us hungry, guys. So Sci-Fi Bartow
Slightly
is coming
thirsty.
up, and you do a lot of conventions, and people are probably going, "Hey, Mark of Mark Crew 42, why do you have these guys come on just because they go to conventions to play music? How does that fit into the sci-fi thing?" Well, let Billy tell about his cosplaying, because Billy totally is a sci-fi, and so is the Commodore. But Billy, how'd you get started in cosplaying?
I was invited to Spooky Empire several years ago, probably about 7 years ago. My friend had written a scary book, and he invited me to Spooky Empire to sit at his table with him, which I didn't really think I had anything to give to Spooky Empire because I was an acoustic musician and played love songs. And that and Zombie Flesh really didn't see eye to eye.
Zombie love is important. It does.
Everybody deserves love, especially zombies.
Yes.
So Spooky Empire was the first one. That was fun. So I decided to go to SuperCon, and I didn't really know what to bring. So I just brought my guitar and a couple CDs. And playing in a convention with 75,000 people in it, and with just an acoustic guitar, it was just not going to work. So the next year I went back. I had brought my fiance at the time. Her favorite holiday was Halloween. And I was going to Miami for 4 days. I invited her to come along with me to kind of get her involved. She's such a creative person. So she wound up cosplaying for those 4 days, just kind of Halloween. She did Pepper Potts, she did Lara Croft, she did Black Widow, and she killed it, which was really cool because that was really helpful in us being able to kind of bridge the gap in music and cosplay. So she started working with Florida Con Artists with Charles Watson, and they needed a Hawkeye for their Avengers group. Now, I was never really into cosplay. I just didn't know a lot about it. I've always been into acting and entertainment and music and stage work, but I didn't know what that was. So they invited me to cosplay Hawkeye, and it was such a fun time. Even though nobody likes Hawkeye, it was still a really good time cosplaying and meeting people, and we met a brand new community. And it was a new experience for me that I had never really understood or experienced before. So after Hawkeye, John Constantine was another character that kind of came to the forefront. After that, Johnny Cage, Indiana Jones. I'm a Star Wars fan as well, so I have my own Jedi, a Homecoming Spider-Man, and it just kind of grew and grew and grew, and I realized the community was such an amazing community. And I've been in the music industry for about 20 years. This year will be 20 years, and I still have never found a more loving and more accepting community than the cosplay and convention community. So we were really fortunate to meet some really great people, and I worked with Florida Con Artists and Dennis and Atera from the House of Dun Cutter, Dave Mansfield. I was just yesterday at Florida PopCon with Dave Mansfield with the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. group.
I was actually going to ask you that. How did Florida PopCon go? Because I was unable to attend that. And how'd that go?
It was a good setup. It was 3 stories. The first story was your vendors. The second story was your kind of like artist alley. And the third story were your special guests. Mm-hmm. It was at the Orlando Live Events Arena in Fern Park. And it was a good con. It was set out really well. The person who put the con on ran into some problems that he was out of his control. Right toward the opening of the convention, he had 22 volunteers all back out at the same time.
Oh, wow. My God. Wow.
And then the hotel that had all the guests in it, they wound up being under construction and going through renovations that they did not tell him about.
Aye.
So all the guests wanted to be relocated to a completely different hotel, and this all happened as they showed up within the last 72 hours of prep.
Wow.
His brother came in, who was just off an appendectomy. His brother came in to help out. We met his father yesterday. His father came in to help out. And you guys know, man, those conventions, they're so expensive to put on. They're so...
Oh, they are.
Mm-hmm.
They are, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you have a huge piece fall out, like your volunteer base, you know you're in for a struggle. So you could tell that he went through some hard times. It was a good convention. It was fun. It was good to see everybody. But he went through some really hard times he could not control. And I hope that convention comes back next year because the vendors and the artists and the guests were top-notch.
I do have one request, though.
Just one?
Just one? Okay. Who's going to do... I know one of you can pull off Doctor Strange.
Oh, that's so awesome.
No, when the guy happens.
There's actually a young Doctor Strange. Aside from the Benedict Cumberbatch Doctor Strange, there's a young Doctor Strange when he was a teenager. And somebody has reached out to us to see if we can cosplay young Doctor Strange. So it's funny that you say that. Jay and I have fortunately we look a lot younger than we really are. So we want to make sure that we connect to our cosplaying. We connect to our, and that's a big part of cosplay is being able to connect to the character. Anybody can go out and dress up like Harley Quinn, but there's only certain people that really connect to the idea behind who, Harley Quinzel is.
Right.
And being able to cosplay somebody, it's highly beneficial to be able to connect to the character themselves, to be able to kind of emanate their personalities, because to some of these kids, you're not Mark. If you're cosplaying Superman, you're Superman. And they don't see me as Billy Floyd. They see me as, John Constantine. They see me as Spider-Man. So being able to understand that communication, that they're meeting their heroes sometimes, or they're meeting their greatest villains sometimes. So when you're able to encapsulate the personality of that character, it makes it such a better experience for everybody involved. But I like Doctor Strange, so we'll work on that for you, absolutely.
Okay.
If you had an unlimited budget for a cosplay, what would be your dream cosplay?
Wow, that's a good question. Probably a Jaeger from Pacific Rim.
Ooh.
Oh.
Ooh.
Nice.
Oh, snap.
Which
We're
one?
dropping it on thick.
Yeah, Pacific Rim was badass, man. If I could pull off a Jaeger from Pacific Rim, that would be amazing.
All right. Now, Billy, you do music, you do cosplay. I got to tell you, I sometimes, in the morning, I'm going on Facebook, and I just stumble upon you going to work. Because when you're going to your day job, and I don't know what your day job is, but you're going to your day job, you've got your camera on facing you, and you do inspiration talk, don't you?
I do talk, and sometimes it can be inspirational. Yes.
It seems very inspirational to me, and I want you to, why did you start doing this? Because, a lot of people driving, you would have to pay complete attention to the road, and me,
Sure.
I have to listen to something while I'm driving to keep attention on the road. You're keeping attention on the road, and you're spouting out some really great advice and messages.
It's and to address the driving while streaming, because I get a lot of messages about that.
Yeah.
Somebody said that to me. I was like, you know what? Let me think about this. Let me watch one of the videos, which I never do. But I'm like, let me watch one of the videos and see how many times I'm looking at the road to make sure, because I know people care and they're just worried, and they say, hey, just be careful, and I get that 100%, and I welcome it. And I realized that I actually look at the road twice as much as when I'm not doing it. Because when I'm not doing it and I'm just kind of cruising on the road, I'm paying attention to the cars next to me,
Right.
I'm switching on my phone, I'm grabbing whatever. And when I do that, I'm actually, I feel like I'm in almost like a hyper state of awareness, because I know that I love my car, and I like low insurance payments, and I like being live, and I like other people being
Holler.
live.
Oh, did I just mess up your insurance by outing you that you do this? I'm sorry. But what do you talk about? Tell them what you talk about, because I find it fascinating, and I don't watch the whole thing, but I watch some of it.
It actually started, I went through a little bit of a life change about 7 months ago, and it was an unwanted change, but it was a dynamic life shift for me. And I found out that when I was on the way to work, I needed to distract myself from thinking about what was going on at the time. So I tried to listen to music, but music just reminded me of what was going on. I tried to just be quiet, and that really reminded me of what was going on.
Oh, yeah.
I felt really alone. And I realized, maybe I'm not alone in the way that I feel alone. Maybe there are other people out there that feel like I do, and there are things on my mind. I was questioning life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness in the universe. So I decided, let me go live and see if there are other people kind of going through what I'm going through. And just things that I had read about and researched after what happened, I kind of learned why things like this happen. So I started realizing that there were these little things that people experience throughout their lives that they never really knew had a title to it, or had a purpose behind it. So I decided, let me just kind of put this out there. And it was one of the things where I realized when I wake up in the morning, I have a choice. I can let what's stressing me out weigh me down and stress me out and give me kind of like negative energy throughout the day. Or I can choose to look at the positive, not ignore the negative, but look at the positive and focus on making the day a good day.
Yeah.
And I started realizing that the more I kind of opened up and talked to people about it, the more people felt the same way. And I started realizing that not only did a lot of people feel the same way, but a lot of people were experiencing the same thing at the same time I was experiencing it. So I started realizing that there was a huge community of people out there that were kind of going through the same thing I was going through. And then little by little, I started looking into motivational quotes and inspirational quotes to lift myself up. And I would stumble upon something, and I'm thinking, this is really good. Let me share this with, the 3 or 4 people that jump in the stream in the morning. Let me share this and see how they feel, if they agree, if they don't agree. And it really became kind of like a small community. And then I started having people message me their stories, things that happened through their life, things that they learned, that they thought the people in the morning would be happy to hear or happy to learn about. So a lot of it is just dealing with the daily stresses that we all go through and realizing that being happy is really a choice. And your energy is extremely infectious through people. And always keep that in mind, because if you go to work and you're having a great day, somebody that is having a really terrible day, just by you being there, has the opportunity to have a great day. If you go to work and you're having a terrible day and you feel bad and you feel depressed and you're upset and you're frustrated, people feel that energy and they feed off of it. So once I started to realize how important every single one of us were and our impact on people's day, I started holding myself highly responsible for the energy that I put out. So I did my best to not only motivate myself, but to share that with other people, to have them realize how powerful we all really are in this circle that we're all kind of connected in. And then it just, it kind of grew from there. We grew another community, people reaching out to me on a daily basis. I've received some really great things from some amazing people that have reached out to me privately and just kind of said, hey, this is kind of where I was in my life. I didn't really know what I was going to do. I watched your video on this, and it gave me the confidence to make this decision. And stuff like that makes it all worth it. To just be able to inspire one person, to have anybody reach out and say thank you, it just makes it so rewarding and humbling to be able to do that. So it became a thing where I did it to not only inspire myself, but to let people know that they're not alone and we all experience these same things.
That's
That was
wonderful.
deep. That was deep because I try to do that too. And it seems like I'm really, really good at helping other people and changing their perspective and trying to, try to get them on their own lane and focus. But for some unforeseeable reason, I can't seem to do it with myself. So
we are all guilty of that.
I got you.
We need a little bit more of that in the world because lots of people like to talk about all it takes is one bad day for someone to go bad, but on the same token, all it takes is one good day to turn someone around. And I'm pretty sure that the stuff that you do has made people real happy and made people real good.
And there's some hard topics too, like last week we talked about what gaslighting was. We talked about toxicity. We talked about narcissism. And it's never something that I really don't look intrinsically as well. And like you said, I have trouble taking my own advice too. The things that I talk about in the morning, I try to use that as motivation for me too. Like it's definitely not one of those things where I'm like, oh, this is what I do and this is how it impacted me. You should try it. It's kind of like, hey, here's this theory. I'm going to try it out. If you guys want to try it out and let me know how your experience goes, maybe we're onto something here.
Hey, Jay, you still there? I know you've been kind of quiet.
Oh. I'm the quiet one of the group.
All right, Commodore, we just keep at it. Why don't we go with the cover? We're voting for a cover. Is that right, guys?
Yeah, that's what you guys want to hear.
We want to hear a cover. Can I pick a band, or are you just going to randomly play something?
We have all our covers up on our whiteboard right now, so we were going to look for something that fits the that fits the envirment.
That'll work.
Right. We were thinking about Freebird.
No.
It's only 11 minutes long. It'll be fun.
Well, actually, the 11 minutes might work.
No way. That's crazy.
I know. This is the song that never
ends. My friends. All right. So we're going to hear a cover from KitchenKillaz.
Sweet, man. Oh, I appreciate it. We're actually going to switch up the tuning for you guys for just a second, and you guys will probably recognize this. If you don't, I'm going to come to your house and give you a hug because you have been mistreated your whole life, and you should have definitely heard this song. I'm going to let my man, the Commodore, start out because he sounds so good. Hello, I waited here for you ever long. Tonight, I throw myself into another red she sang. Calm down and waste away with me, down with me. And now I know you always been out of the red she sang. And I wonder if I sing along with you, anything could ever be this real forever. Anything could ever be this good again. The only thing I'll ever ask of you, you got to promise not to stop when I say when. When I say when. When I say when. When I say when. And she sang. Breathe out so I can breathe you in. Hold you in. And now I know you always been out of your head, out of her head she sang. And I wonder if I sing along with you, anything could ever be this real forever. Anything could ever be this good again. The only thing I'll ever ask of you, you got to promise not to stop when I say when. When I say when. When I say when. When I say when. And she sang. And she sang. And I wonder if I sang along with you, anything could ever be this real forever. Anything could ever be this good again. The only thing I'll ever ask of you, you got to promise not to stop when I say when. When I say when. When I say when. When I say when. And she sang. And she sang.
Oh yeah!
Oh my gosh!
Oh yeah! Oh, music from the KitchenKillaz here on Marku 42. Wow!
Quick thing,
guys.
since I'm the youngest here, and I know this song, does anybody else here know this song?
Of course I know this song.
Yes!
You all need a hug. Foo Fighters. You all need hugs.
Mark, I owe you a hug, bro. I'm on the way.
I owe you a hug too. Thank you.
I'm bringing
so
some bacon.
much.
I hope you like bacon.
I do.
Yes.
I volunteer as tribute to receive a hug from KitchenKillaz, strictly for science purposes.
It's like, I need a hug.
I need a hug.
I need a hug. Oh God, do I need a hug?
We're like the Oprah Winfrey of hugs.
Yeah.
It's just for scientific research purposes. I volunteer as tribute.
We like science. We like science.
Yeah, absolutely.
We put as much data and research data as possible to make, the right hypotheses and formulate the correct decisions.
Absolutely. See, that's what I'm talking about. And sometimes we just got to start over and try a couple times to figure out that we got the right answer. And just, for science. Yeah. You guys are hungry. I'm a little thirsty over here. So we're just going to go back to the cave that I came from.
So, Billy and the Commodore, what's next for you guys in both KitchenKillaz and outside of that?
Man, for KitchenKillaz, we're still we're booking kitchens right now. So February, March are full. We're about halfway through April. We have a couple of dates in May as well. And we're looking to hit MegaCon. So this year's MegaCon after party, We're working really closely with Moshi Productions, with Hanging with Web Show, Florida Con Artist, House of Dunner Cosplay, and we're part of the official after party of MegaCon.
Where can people
Awesome.
Where can people contact you to sign you up to get you on their kitchen?
The best place to do that is actually jumping into one of the live feeds. You know, we stream 3 times a week. So every Monday at 7:05, we do what we call a one and done, and that is to promote the Friday show, music that we play on Monday, and then we also do it on Wednesday as well at 7:05. Every now and then we'll throw in a viewer-powered show, and it depends on the number of viewers. We'll relegate the number of songs that we play.
Yeah,
So
I
if
think
we
the
have,
one that
you know,
I watched you on last week, we were trying to hit 30, weren't we? And
Yeah.
and we kept like, ooh, we're so close, we're at 29, and then, oh no, we went back to 28. Oh no, can we just start anyway? No, we're we hit 31. Go.
which is what we love about that viewer powered one and done thing. It gets the fans interacting. It gets them excited about it. It gets them sharing it.
Because we realize if we just keep playing music because people are, hey, play another one, we'll play our entire set for Friday.
Yeah.
You know, and we don't want to do that. You know, it's almost like if you're a local band, for example, if you're a brick and mortar band, you don't want to play too much in your same town.
Right.
Because if somebody comes to see you on Friday night, they're not going to come and see you on Saturday night. If you're a local band, now granted, if you're a world touring band, then yes, you can play 3 shows at Madison Square Garden Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and sell out every single one, of course. But when you're a local band, you try not to saturate your market too much. And right now our market is online. So we try to understand how much to play to keep people interested, but we don't want to play too much where it drops the viewership for our Friday show. So every Monday and every Wednesday and every Friday, we stream on Facebook.com/Billy Floyd Music under the name of the KitchenKillaz. And as you so eloquently stated, Mark, I always introduce myself as Billy Floyd, and this is
the Commodore,
and we're the KitchenKillaz from Orlando, Florida.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome. Yeah.
Well, it's that Cali vibe. I can't help it. It's kind of spread over here in this small town of Virginia. I got some country folks saying hella and totes.
Oh, no.
And yeah.
That was wonderful. That's what we need more, right?
Yeah. I'd like to thank Billy Floyd and the Commodore Jay Stevens for coming on our show, guys. We really appreciate it. I hope everyone enjoyed the music as well as the conversation that listened in. And we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have more of Mark Who 42.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. We had a great time. Thank you for the invitation so very much.
Don't go away. We'll be back with more Mark Who 42 after this.
I did my Christmas shopping, and I got my girlfriend the Peter Capaldi crystal carving at DoctorWhoCrystals.com. And you should go there, too. They've got official BBC licensed crystal carvings of all the doctors inside of a crystal carving of a TARDIS. They are actual crystal, and they are beautiful. They've got every doctor to choose from, and they're only $100. They're not that expensive. So do what I did and get your spouse happy by buying them a crystal carving from DoctorWhoCrystals.com. You know, I might buy the War Doctor one for myself.
Hello, I'm Nicholas Briggs,
The voice of many monsters on Doctor Who.
and executive producer of Big Finish Productions. And I'm pleased to announce that Mark Who 42 Books have joined forces with Big Finish to bring you Big Finish Audio.
There's this fella who calls himself the Doctor, and he says he has saved me, and we are in his time machine.
You all right? I think I've broken something. What about you?
Yes, I'm fine, thanks.
I rather think I broke your fall.
Oh, sorry.
Mark Who 42 Books will now offer to bring you the best in Big Finish audio.
But why are they here?
How do you do?
I beg your pardon?
Oh, no need to. I'm the Doctor, and this is...
I am Leela.
By all means, please do come out to play, Doctor. I'm waiting for you.
To find where Mark Who 42 Books will be, go to markwho42.net or on their Facebook site at Mark Who 42.
What are you saying? They fizzled in somehow? Like the TARDIS?
Yeah, transmat from another dimension. The TARDIS doesn't fizzle. It's more of a...
Also go to markwho42.net and download my interview with the team.
You're executive producer at Big Finish Productions.
Correct.
Correct.
Is this a quiz?
Mark Who 42, taking you to the Whoniverse and beyond.
Hello, this is the Doctor. No, not that Doctor. This Doctor, Robert Picardo, the holographic Doctor from Star Trek Voyager. And you're listening to Mark Who 42.
And we're back with more of Mark Who 42. Boy, that was a great interview, guys, wasn't it? I like having them on. That was good music.
Great music.
We got to get a hug. It was beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, it was nice.
Absolutely dreamy.
Yeah, we got a short convention list for you because really I don't want to publicize too much in advance. We've got a few conventions that are one pen stroke from signing, but we do have the one that's coming up on February 24th at the West Palm Beach Convention Center. It's Comic-Con Revolution. Comic-Con Revolution will be, like I said, February 24th, and it's going to have some great guests, including Mark Who 42. We've got people like Chris Bacalo, comic artist. We've got Patrick Broderick. We've got Sandy King Carpenter. Wow, I would wonder who that is if I wasn't so smart. We have Adam Troy Castro. We have Ming Chen, Chris Claremont. The list goes on and on. It is going to be a great convention. It's their first year. Please go out. It's on a Saturday, not a Sunday, so you can do your Sunday things and still have a convention that weekend. And like I said earlier, Trish and I will be the week before that at Gallifrey. Isn't that right, Trish?
Oh, yes. Can't wait.
Can't wait. So the new convention list will be coming up in the next couple of weeks here on the show, but we just wanted to get the one that we had definitely booked out on the table. So come to Comic-Con Revolution in West Palm Beach, Florida, February 24th, 2018. Tickets are on sale. Go to Comic-Con Revolution. Click on the West Palm Beach banner, not the Ontario, California banner, because then you'll get the wrong convention. Or go to our website, markwho42.net. On the right side of the screen, or if you're on a mobile device on the bottom of the screen, there will be a link directly to Comic-Con Revolution. Boy, guys, that was a show.
Did you get it all out? Did you get it all out?
Let me try it again.
No!
Yeah, it's all out now. I'm better. Okay. Any final words from the Not So Peanut Gallery?
Yes. I finally watched Black Mirror, and I got to the Jodie Whittaker episode.
Oh, good. Okay, what do you think?
She can act.
Yeah,
she can act.
She can.
She can act. So far, I definitely like Black Mirror. Is this generation's version of the Twilight Zone?
It is. It's totally a Twilight Zone, but all based on media. All based on, and it's a great thing. Charlie Brooker, the guy who created the show and writes like every episode of it, or at least part of every episode, because sometimes he co-writes, is a great television analyzer. He has a show in England called Screen Wipe where he cuts down all the TV shows and stuff that are on that week, and it's a fun show. He is a very funny guy, and he can write really twisted stories, as you can see from Black Mirror.
Indeed.
Yeah,
I just recently started watching Black Mirror as well.
Well, when you get to Series 4, Episode 1, the Star Trek episode...
You know, you know what's funny? Okay, do you know what's funny, Mark? We were watching Black Mirror on Netflix, and we watched the first 3... it's only 3 episodes in the first season. We watched those 3, and then it, for some reason, jumped us to Season 4, Episode 1, but we didn't realize that until about 15 minutes in, and all of a sudden I'm like, where all the British people go?
Right,
why is it all these Americans? And then I'm like, I think we jumped seasons. And so, of course, we were 15 minutes in, so we watched that episode.
Yeah. Oh, good. What did you think of it?
That was really a good episode.
It was better than Discovery, wasn't it?
Ooh,
I'm sorry. Did I say anything? Orville is better than Discovery. Black Mirror is better than both. Okay.
I would not go that far. Orville's way better.
Orville, and the fact that in Season 2 they're going to get into more science fiction. Seth MacFarlane has said they're going to be more science fiction, a little bit less of the stuff that makes Family Guy the best show on television. But I think Orville really was a good show. does feel like Star Trek The Next Generation, but accidentally going into the boys' room of the schoolyard.
Oh,
yeah,
my.
A little bit of toilet humor in there, but it's such a funny show, and the stories are great. All right, Iggy, any final words?
Keep it real.
Keeping it reals, yeah. All right, so that's about all the time we have for this show. I'd like to thank all of you out there for coming and getting to listen to some really great music from the Foo Fighters and original music, KitchenKillaz. Thank you for being there, Billy Floyd and the Commodore. And thank you guys, my co-hosts. I appreciate you coming on the show today.
Always.
Hashtag Zion is awesome.
Hashtag Zion is awesome. You know, that might be as big a hashtag as chin balls.
Yes.
What?
Make it a thing.
It might be. We might get it to be as famous as that one.
Oh my!
That's what Patty came up with. I didn't come up with that one. Sorry. I'm not that crude. Or am I? You'll find out when I do Keeping It Reals in a couple of weeks. Until next time, everyone, have TARDIS will travel. Next week, we will have a discussion episode where we will talk about Doctor Who. Boy, won't that be interesting? For the first week in a couple of weeks, we'll actually have a show where we discuss Doctor Who. Keeping it real. Bye, everyone. Have TARDIS will travel.
Bye.
42 has been written and presented by Mark Baumgarten, Iggy Matthews, Zion Heroes, and Trish Fryer. This episode was edited, directed, and produced by Mark Baumgarten. Visit markwho42.net, where you can register and become part of the Whoniverse Army. We can be contacted by email at mark@markwho42, subject line, ? You can have Mark Who 42 entertain at your next event or convention. Go to heroesonhand.com/markwho42. Space Coast Comics is a free monthly magazine found in over 120 locations currently throughout Brevard County, parts of Osceola, Volusia, and Indian River County in Florida, and available in Chicago. Follow them on Facebook to learn more. Doctor Who and its properties are owned by the BBC, the British Broadcasting Corporation. Mark Who 42 is owned and copyrighted by Mark Baumgarten 2018. This is Krypton Radio.